let us have this scenario wherein while injecting the contrast from below, we could be able to see the renal vein opacifying. Uh, Dr. Ramesh sir, can you tell us how this situation can happen and how it can be prevented?
Yeah, this is a pilovenous backflow, and obviously somebody has injected the contrast under high pressure, and they opened up multiple venous channels and cause you can see the vein, the right renal vein, being lit up. So this suggests the pressure that has been injected is quite high, or there is associated infection in the system. When there's inflammatory changes because of a stone of a long duration, this is likely to happen. And when this does occur, my recommendation would be to stop doing the procedure, put in a stent and come out, and then relook at it after some time. I would not like to proceed with the puncture when you have a large pilovenous backflow, because the chance of post-operative bleeding in this scenario is going to be quite high. So the pressure probably injected is quite high, and that's why this has happened. Or there's a lot of infection in the kidney.
So
I would abandon this procedure and put in a double stent.
Oh, excellent. So that this means this patient has a high risk of sepsis if that is a significant pilovenous backflow.
Absolutely.
Lakshman Prabhu sir, do you want to add anything?
No, again, the best approach would be to stent. I agree with Dr. Ramesh completely. But if there is leisure and the patient can stay with you for a couple of days, RGC can be placed, and after 48 to 72 hours, you can go ahead and try your PCNL, because infection part you would have known from your preliminary evaluation. But if the preliminary evaluation has shown that culture is sterile, and this is just a consequence, you're 100% sure that this is because of overzealous injection, then an RGC in place for a couple of days and then redo, especially places, far off places wherein the patient has come from a far off place, cannot go back and return. Stenting would be the best. So you can see off the patient at least for 2 or 3 weeks and get the patient back for a fresh look. Stenting would be the safest, but RGC also is a way out. I don't know about the other specialists, but we have done this a couple of times.
Point is well taken, sir. Ajay sir, do you do the same, or will you have a different way of handling?
I have some different opinion, because if it is a grossly infected kidney, definitely we'll put in a stent. But if we are not expecting there is a grossly infected kidney, only the overzealous injection of the contrast, lighting up the renal vein, I have not seen such a scenario. But then why not, just wait for a while, again put a saline, and then see whether it gets repeated. If you are not expecting this and this has happened only because of too much of a pressure contrast, you can always go into the pelvic cholecystectomy from the lower calyx, put a nephrostomy, and then in a second stage at the post you can remove the stone, because the primary aim of this procedure is to remove the stone. So why not put a nephrostomy? That will also reduce the infection. And then if you are these pressure factors will come in only when you are doing a high pressure irrigation. Putting a nephrostomy when the contrast the lower calyx is lit up, I would put a nephrostomy, and then after 2 days.
So you prefer to do a nephrostomy and rather than stenting, so that we can use the same track for PCNL2.
Yeah, unless it is grossly infected.
Dr. Karthi, can I just put in a point? The only reason I would not prefer a nephrostomy is the chance of bleeding is going to be high in this patient.
No, if it is only
it's a major intravasation, so the chance of bleeding through the nephrostomy is going to be higher.
This intravasation is only because of the one fornicial rupture from the middle calyx at the most. So I think the lower calyx is intact. You just put a 12 French nephrostomy, that should be fine. If it is infected system, yes, just put a guide wire and then put a DJ stent and drain the system and come back again.
Yeah, but this is a good X-ray, because I've never seen such a thing. We have never had such a thing. It's a very rare situation.
I never saw a renal vein lit up because of this.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to hear what Dr. Pal says about this.
Before going to Pal, sir, Ramesh sir, you have to answer for one more question. And does this pilovenous backflow increase any risk of vascular malformation? As you said,
no, we have not encountered anything. See, AV malformation is one of the differential diagnoses in an unexplained hematuria. But in a patient who has got a stone who is slotted for a PCNL, to have such a imaging following intravasation, I would not straight away jump to the gun and think that it's a AV malformation. Though it's one of the differential diagnoses for an unexplained hematuria. I have not encountered such a thing. I will not consider this at all. I would think still it's the pressure which has caused this intravasation.
Got it, sir. Paul, sir, your views?
Sir, the pilotubular and
Pilovenous.
pylolymphatic, sorry, the tubular and pylolymphatic flow, backflow are normal. And pylovenous starts as soon as the pressure inside goes beyond 80 centimeters of water level.
Yeah.
So it is only in a very thin individual where is a very heavy contrast injection of a very densely undiluted contrast, you are able to identify the vein. Otherwise, pilovenous backflow is a very common occurrence where almost every case what you are doing. Even when you are doing a mini PCNL and you have increased the pressure inside, there will be some amount of pilovenous backflow going in. It is only because it has been opacified. Yes, if it is an infected case, definitely we should abandon the case. That we know even before. And if it is not infected, just by seeing this, I will not abandon the case. I will go ahead straight away as a normal PCNL, and I will remove. I will try to keep the pressure inside the system low so that not much of pilovenous backflow goes. I will be having a bigger Amplard sheath and a smaller nephroscope, more than 6 French distance between the difference between these, and I will never use a pump in this case. That's all. Otherwise, I will go ahead and do a PCNL.
Okay, sir. So the take-home message will be again to have a low pressure while injecting contrast, and if you consider infection, put a PCN, and with calculator risk, even we can proceed with PCNL.
If you allow me, I will show you a case here which I proceeded in this. If you remove your slide, I can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your slide is still there.
No, I have put it in because we are running short of time. That's why I kept my slide ready.
Sir, just see this, and meanwhile, I will let you know. Just remove your.
Yeah, removed.
See, many a times when we are doing PCNL, haven't you seen a huge amount of bleeding taking place? From where it is coming? It is coming through a vein which you are not able to identify, which you are not seeing. We all show so many of veins all around the pelvic calyceal system and tell that you have to be very careful. But sometimes the injury takes place and we are not aware. See, this is one man, just wanted to briefly tell you. There was a 8 millimeter right lower calyceal calculus, and patient had to report immediately because he wanted to be stone free in 10 days. Otherwise, his job, he will not be able to take the job. So this was the stone in the lower calyx. You can see the lower
We
calyx.
can't see. Karthik, can you unmute Dr. Ramesh?
You have to share the screen.
Sir has to unmute himself, sir. Sir is unmute only. Sir, Paul, sir, your screen is not that shared.
My screen is not there.
Yeah, not that shared. Yeah.
Now,
Yes, sir. Your full panel of that PowerPoint is in view, sir. Yeah.
now is it there?
Yes, sir.
So it's a very simple lower calyceal stone, and patient has to get stone free within 10 days. He has to report, otherwise he won't be able to join the job. And this is lying in the anterior calyx. And I thought best way is to pick it up completely and give him a CT after 3-4 days that there is no stone. So I just went inside and now see carefully. This is what I could see. There was a lot of bleeding. There was much more bleeding than what I expected after making the track. When I increased the flow, the fluid, because of that, there is hardly any bleeding shown. And when I am coming out of the PUJ, now you see there is a just below the infundibulum, there is an injury which had happened during dilatation. And when I go in, I can see the vein. This is the entry to the vein. In the beginning, I went inside and I had a look inside the vein. It was a venous injury, and this happens very commonly. Only thing we don't see it. And when you go increase the flow, go inside with the Amplard sheath pushed in and go to the upper calyx, it stops. So now what to do in this case? When you come out, you see the bleeding. So what I did was this: increase the flow, came out. This was the stone lying, and there is a hole in front from where there is an entry to the vein. So increase the flow, try to, as soon as you pass the forceps, the irrigation will stop, will decrease, and bleeding will happen. So try to pull the stone out. Many a times I tried. A small fragment I saw which was going, which went inside the vein also. I was definitely under tension. Then ultimately I decided to take the stone inside the pelvic calyceal system and go to the superior calyx. I took the stone from here, picked it up from here, and took it inside the system with the implant sheath being in, placed it in the superior calyx. So such bleedings and going inside the vein has happened with me 3 times, and all the 3 times I left a nephrostomy tube inside, kept it clamped for about 24 hours, and after 2-3 days, nothing. It was absolutely normal, and there was no hematuria, no bleeding, nothing happened.
And
So
it's
this
a
is-
endovascular PCNL.
Yeah.
Okay, can you stop sharing the screen, sir? And I'll go to my.
Hello. Can I ask Pal a question?
Sir.
Can I ask Pal a question, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I'm listening.
And Pal, you're an expert. You can do all this manipulation. What about a beginner? What will you advise him? See, you're saying that you've gone into vein, came out of it, took the stone, went to upper calyx, left it there, broke the stone, took it out. All are fine for an expert like you. But
Always safer
beginner,
to leave
what will you advise him? Will you advise him to do all these maneuvers, or will you advise him to be a little more careful and come away?
much more careful. Leave a nephrostomy after 3 days. When you go in, nothing will be there. All of this has happened to us before. When we started PCNL, there was a huge amount of bleeding. We don't know what has happened. We got confused, but obviously it was coming from some vein only. We did see the vein, that's all. So we left the nephrostomy and did it in second stage. Many cases we have done in 2 stages. Now in this case, another 2 cases, I could see the vein. I could even do a means the phleboscopy, went inside, but nobody should do a daring step in the beginning. But it is just a lesson that you can do such case, and you, if you leave a nephrostomy and come out, veins are very forgiving. They will settle on their own. So just
Right.
by RGP, if there is a contrast scene going inside the vein, don't get scared. It is part of the game.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, now what you have to understand is this uterine catheter was being placed. The tip has gone right from the pelvis into a very central vein. What Dr. Ramesh was telling is partly correct. When you were dealing with the stone, you are in the periphery of the kidney. You are towards the smaller vein. What Dr. Ramesh is picking up a vein opening which is close to the pelvis, probably a bigger vein. That's why, and you can see big dilated renal vein. If you are injecting a contrast, you won't find this renal vein getting outlined, because these are the, you can think of phleboscopy because everything is magnified. This here, what has happened is the uterine catheter has taken a straight course, and the pelvis has probably just got a nick outside the pelvis into probably, which should be not a small vein. So that was the issue. So that's why he probably thought of it's better to play safe, because you never know what is outside the pelvis, whether it will get tamponade, whether even if it's a low pressure, whether bleeding is going to continue. You remove the stone, patient develop hematoma and keep on having ileus. So these are so many things that can happen. But again, the point is you have to take a call depending upon the situation that time. When we do nephroscopy, we are not gone towards the pelvis. We are towards the periphery, smaller veins, smaller venules, which probably makes a case for going and removing the stone, keeping in view the patient has to go after 8 days. If you see, if I show you the video of what the real vein is filling, you will see you inject contrast and this renal vein is looking IVC. So this is the idea was to play safe. Yeah.
Sir, how it is ureteric catheter has perforated the
Yeah, it has gone through the pelvis and gone somewhere. We don't
Yeah,
know.
it has crossed the mucosa, the
Yes.
infundibulum, and
Yes.
gone to the renal vein.
Yes,
And when
yes.
you pull it back, it will come back into.
No, no. See, it has not been pulled back. Again, see, the idea is every step has to be flows. This is a common mistake, not seeing the roadmap and just pushing the catheter without any. Okay, sir. I move to the next patient, and I'll go.